Tonight on CTV News at 6, the Edmonton Oilers look to take another step closer to the Stanley Cup. Growing hope for fans ahead of Game 2.
I want to see a Stanley Cup in my lifetime.
Sentencing for a man who killed a teen without warning.
In reality, he's not going to serve that much time. There's not going to be justice.
And MacEwan University opens up its School of Business.
They really get connected to these bees, and whatever you're going through in the week, then you see the bees, and it just make you feel better.
Gusty wind and temperatures way below average as we close out the week, and snow.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. The Edmonton Oilers are looking to take a 2-0 series lead tonight in their Round 1 playoff matchup against the Anaheim Ducks. The puck drops on Game 2 in about 2 hours' time. Evan Kenny joins us now live from Fort Hall in Ice District. Evan, what are you hearing from the team and fans ahead of this game?
Well, Jeff, the Oilers know to be successful in the playoffs, they'll need more production from their stars. In Game 1, it was the first time this season that Connor McDavid did not record a point in an Oilers win. Now, fans are hoping tonight he'll be a gem. They say that they want to be wowed or even dazzled.
As the Oilers get set for Game 2 tonight,
I just completed the McDavid one. My Draisaitl is in the works.
Fans are getting ready to cheer on the team.
Best time of the year, yes, absolutely.
At her home in Sherwood Park, Linda Balicki has spent dozens of hours bedazzling jackets, jerseys, and purses.
I've loved sparkles my whole life. I've loved the Oilers my whole life, so why not marry the two? I was stopped 100 times at the game.
Now she's completed a 3-foot wide sign.
It took me roughly 61 hours to complete. It has over 35,000 gems on them. The silver ones are Swarovski crystal ones, so a little bit more expensive, but they just pop.
Signs around the city are popping up in support of the Oilers. The McKinnon Ravine Park sign off of 142nd Street has received a makeover. Someone has now dubbed it the McDavid Ravine Park.
Seeing the fans and how much pride they have in that, and the boys battling, made me really want to be on the ice.
Balicki hopes the Game 1 win is a sign of good things to come.
I hope a Stanley Cup, and I want to see a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. This is my way of saying thank you.
She plans on giving the sign to the Oilers, hoping it can be auctioned off for charity.
Now tonight, the Oilers will not be receiving any charity or gifts on the ice. The team says the Ducks are a talented team and they expect to push back here in Game 2. Josh Szymanski, who we just heard from, will be in the lineup making his playoff debut. He will fill in for Adam Henrique, who is out with an injury. Jeff?
All right, Evan, thank you. Evan Kenny live in Ice District tonight. Alberta is introducing new breast cancer screening policies as well as fertility assistance for people about to undergo cancer treatment. The Premier says it will make things easier for Albertans as they navigate a sudden cancer diagnosis. Connor Hogg reports.
A room full of UCP MLAs joined the Premier and the Primary and Preventative Health Services Minister Wednesday to detail new screening policies and IVF treatment options they say will help people navigate a cancer diagnosis. The government is spending $2.25 million on a new onco-fertility program.
This program will pay for IVF treatment for more than 250 patients, helping them preserve the possibility of building a family after treatment.
Fertility groups say they want this to be the start of more changes to improve access for cancer patients.
We will work closely with the provincial government as a partner to develop an onco-fertility preservation policy that empowers men and women to freeze eggs, sperm, embryos, and ovarian tissue.
In addition, women who are 40 and over will soon be able to self-refer for free breast cancer screenings.
This change will make more than 193,000 additional women eligible for screening, and that matters. Early detection means cancer can be found sooner,
The money for screening expansions and the onco-fertility program will come out of the primary and preventative care budget. The opposition agrees that while earlier cancer screenings are needed, additional supports would help those who will now qualify.
There is no family doctor to help them interpret their results. There is no access for them into cancer care. It can cause an even bigger problem.
The announcement was an emotional one for Smith and LaGrange.
It's an impossible choice. Thinking of a young woman at 32 having 48 hours to make a decision like that, knowing the pathway's going to change.
My dad wasn't there when I got married, so I was only 15 and a half when my dad passed away. So it is emotional because it's real lives.
Breast cancer self-referrals for women over 40 will start next April. The province says the new onco-fertility program will be fully developed and implemented by 2027. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Premier says Albertans need to try permanent daylight saving time before deciding whether they like it.
Let's see how people are after they've lived it through this winter, because again, as I say, no one's shy of telling me what their opinion is, and so I'm sure we'll get a gauge on whether or not people think that we've made a mistake.
Smith says she suspects Albertans will prefer a later sunrise in the winter as opposed to the 4 a.m. sun up in the summer. The Premier says a time change question could be added to the ballot during the 2027 provincial election. It won't be part of October's referendum. Smith says that's too close to the fall time change, and industries which rely on advanced scheduling like airlines and the NHL need more notice. Alberta's Justice Minister says the province's new bill will target people making AI deepfakes, but the enforcement might be a little tougher. This comes after a report identified a network of YouTube channels targeting Albertans with false information. The channels pose as Albertan voices that push U.S. annexation and Alberta separation. Mickey Amory says anything that breaks Alberta's elections rules is under provincial jurisdiction. He says cooperation with other areas will be needed.
But I can also advise that the Minister of Public Safety, through the work with municipal, provincial and federal agencies like the RCMP, like the local policing detachments, are very much live to this issue, and they're working diligently to address it as well.
Amory says the provincial government is bringing forward a suite of policies and laws shortly that address the negative impact of deepfakes in other areas. A 21-year-old daycare employee is facing sexual assault charges. Police say there may be more victims. Police say Kulraj Singh worked at a daycare in West Edmonton and one in Central Edmonton. Earlier this month, a parent called police to report an incident involving their child at the West End daycare. Police arrested and charged Singh yesterday. His child care certification has also been suspended. The man who killed a 15-year-old boy from St. Albert who was out walking his dog learned his fate this afternoon. He was sentenced to 14 years in prison after pleading guilty to manslaughter. CTV's Amanda Anderson has the details.
Broden's birthday is coming up on the 28th. He would be 17.
Instead of planning a birthday celebration for her son, Sherry Morin faced his killer in court as she described life without him.
Just how big of a part of my life he was, and the hole that's left behind after now that he's gone.
15-year-old Broden Radomski was killed in May 2024. He was walking his dog with his mom and younger brother when they were joined by friends of the family. Keith Landry was with them. Landry pulled a knife from his pocket, ran up behind Radomski and slit his throat. He died within minutes. Morin told the court she lost more than just her son because of Landry's actions.
I don't have custody of my younger son now, and even the dog that we were walking that night has since passed as well. So really, when I say I lost my family, every member of my family is not in my life anymore. So I do see Blake, my youngest, but things are different now.
Several of the teen's friends also read victim impact statements in court, often through tears. They spoke about what Radomski meant to them, how his murder robbed them of being able to grow up together, and how they continue to struggle with the loss. Landry pleaded guilty to manslaughter instead of the second-degree murder charge he was facing. Manslaughter sentences can range from no jail time to life, while second-degree murder is life with no chance of parole for at least 10 years. The Crown and Defence presented a joint sentence recommendation of 14 years, which the justice accepted.
In reality, he's not going to serve that much time. There's not going to be justice. I'm unhappy that it's a manslaughter charge because there is intent there. When you slice a child's throat, you don't expect that they're going to live.
When given a chance to address the court and Radomski's loved ones, Landry said no thank you. With time already served, he has about 11 years left on his sentence. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Alberta's appeal court has ordered a new trial for a man sentenced to life in the beating death of his common-law partner. Ryan Applegarth was convicted of second-degree murder in the 2020 death of Chantel Firingstone. The appeal court says the Crown lacked the evidence to show Applegarth intended to kill. A notorious BC gangster who masterminded the Surrey 6 killings in 2007 has been released from prison and will be residing in Edmonton. Authorities say Jamie Bacon will be closely monitored after being released with conditions and a curfew. Bacon was sentenced to 18 years in prison after pleading guilty to one count of conspiracy to murder in 2020. 6 people were executed in a Surrey apartment. 4 of the victims were targeted, 2 were innocent bystanders. The murders were carried out to advance the illicit drug business of the Red Scorpions gang. The mayor is putting bad builders on notice. He says if you break the city's construction rules, there will be consequences as Edmonton ramps up enforcement. In some cases, builders could be forced to pay for extra oversight on their own projects. Jeremy Thompson reports.
Security fences like this have gone up around hundreds of properties in the last few years as older neighborhoods experience redevelopment through infill. Along with keeping the site secure, builders have a long list of city rules to follow during construction.
Keeping things clean, tidy, and respectful are really the critical elements from a neighborliness point of view.
Kaylin Anderson says the small group of developers who skirt those rules give the rest of the industry a bad name, which is why Build Edmonton Metro supports a new effort by the city to crack down.
I want us to use every single resource possible to get them to comply.
The city is ramping up enforcement efforts on all projects through the Construction Accountability Program. Builders who break the rules regularly will be put on a high oversight path for future projects. That means submitting a detailed project implementation plan, paying for a city-approved compliance officer to monitor their worksite, and a mandatory training course.
Only once they have then regularly shown that they can follow the rules and gone through the training course that we have in place, could they move back into the category of a regular builder like anyone else.
The city says it will also do proactive inspections at key moments for a project like demolition, excavation, and foundation installation. Beverly Zubot with the Residential Infill Working Group says while inspections are a good step, she'd rather the city require builders shore up their excavation to better protect neighboring homes.
They're being dug deeper, which creates fraction lines, and they're longer. So it's just a bigger hole. It's more likely that there's going to be soil movement.
The Coordinated Construction Accountability Team is now staffed and getting to work. Other elements like the high oversight label are coming online later this year and in early 2027. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
One person was taken to hospital after a fire at a central Edmonton apartment. Edmonton Fire Rescue says the fire was reported around 2 o'clock this morning. Crews had it out about an hour later. They say the fire was largely contained to one unit. The person brought to hospital was treated for smoke inhalation. There's no word on the cause. A high school in southeast Edmonton has been celebrating its cultural makeup for nearly 2 decades. Students at J. Percy Page participated in One Page, Many Worlds today. It's a student-led celebration showcasing traditional food and clothing along with dancing and games. The festival is organized and run by students.
This is the Philippines! It's the Philippines! And then you pour flavors into it, and then you just mix it and you just enjoy the...
This is the African booth, kind of. It's from countries such as Congo, Ghana, Nigeria, and even Tanzania.
And also Burundi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One Page, Many Worlds is in its 18th year. A little rain couldn't stop hundreds of volunteers from celebrating Earth Day with a citywide litter cleanup. The Earth Day cleanups organized by Goodwill took place at more than 30 locations across Edmonton. Goodwill says the goal is to inspire people to want to keep their neighborhoods clean.
We are already predicting White Ave to be hopping during the Stanley Cup playoffs, so why not be a great place to celebrate hockey and everything that's Edmonton for the next couple of weeks in a beautiful area, in a clean area.
Goodwill also held cleanups in Calgary and in Grand Prairie. All right, Josh, the weather change. It's here. It's upon us.
Yeah, temperatures, as expected, have been sliding through the course of the day. Today, we got to 11 for a daytime high early this morning. We've been around 5 degrees for most of this afternoon. If you take a look at current temperatures in the Edmonton area, we've bounced up a couple of degrees. There's actually a few breaks in the clouds, so that's helped a little bit. We're up to 7 now. For an afternoon high. As we said, the daytime high is going to end up at 11. Wind out of the north, 30 gusting to 40 kilometers per hour. By tomorrow, especially through the afternoon, gusts will be around 60 kilometers per hour. Averages for this time of year are 13 and 1. This will end up looking like a very average day, although through this afternoon, it has been several degrees cooler than average. Wind warning in the southeast corner of the province, southwest corner of the province, a snowfall warning. In northeastern Alberta, you've got a snowfall warning. Could see 20-plus centimeters of snow in that area by the end of the day tomorrow. And then this rainfall warning for the area in blue. Not everywhere has seen heavy rain, but parts of that region have seen some heavier rain falling on some frozen surfaces. So we do have a little bit of overland flooding. It does look like it's kind of tapering, or kind of flipping over, rather, to a little bit of wet snow around Lloydminster. Heavy snow continues from Fort McMurray all the way south to Lac La Biche here in Edmonton. There are the breaks in the cloud just off to the west and northwest. So I think we'll just see cloudy periods through this evening. Gusts stay 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. Watch tomorrow afternoon, though. Gusts 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. So even windier tomorrow than it was today, and cooler as well. -2 in the morning and about 3 or 4 degrees for a daytime high. That's not the end of the cool down. Even chillier for Friday and Saturday. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Stay with us. Coming up, Ottawa outlines a potential pipeline route.
If this report indicates federal government acceptance of that point of view, I think that's a good development.
Why the feds want to take a West Coast pipeline in a different direction than what Premier Smith has been promoting. Also ahead.
They're all poking their heads up, and yes, they're here. They're going to survive.
Urban beekeepers are breaking into their hives to see how many bees survived hibernation.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Since signing a memorandum of understanding with Ottawa, Premier Danielle Smith has been promoting a northern pipeline route to Prince Rupert, BC. Now it seems the federal government is interested in a different path. CTV's Kevin Green explains.
BC has long maintained Danielle Smith's preferred northern pipeline route is a no-go. Now the Globe and Mail reports Ottawa is also favoring a southern path to the Port of Vancouver.
If this report indicates federal government acceptance of that point of view, I think that's a good development.
Calgary's Chamber of Commerce says if the rerouting speeds building a pipeline, that's the way to go.
A million barrels to the coast, however we can get it there, is something that's on everybody's mind. I think that, obviously pipelines are the best way to do that, not by rail.
Alberta plans to submit a pipeline plan by July 1st, but in a statement to CTV, a spokesperson for Alberta's premier said the province isn't married to just one pipeline path, writing, Alberta is leading the evaluation of all practical routes to ensure the proposal is economically viable, socially responsible, and respectful of First Nations. A southern route alongside or near the existing Trans Mountain still requires a lot of work, notably dredging the harbour in Vancouver. BC-based environmental groups don't like it.
Regardless of whether the route was in the north or in the south, we don't support another pipeline. I think there's a lot better uses of our federal dollars and a lot of other projects we could be putting our energy into.
But pipeline advocates say moving oil to the coast and to export is a must, not just for Canada, but for the entire world.
And we need to seize the moment and get in the game and help our allies and trading partners out with the resources that we have as a win-win right now in a world of incredible energy reliability concerns.
A panel tasked with exploring the possibility of nuclear power in the province says Albertans are open to the idea. The Nuclear Energy Engagement and Advisory Panel was formed last August. It engaged with more than 600 Albertans in Edmonton, Calgary, Fort McMurray, Peace River, and Bonnyville. The report shows many participants recognize the benefits of nuclear energy, like producing electricity, creating jobs, and driving investment. Others expressed concerns about safety, radiation, nuclear waste, the environment, and emergency management.
Releasing this report does not represent a decision to proceed with nuclear development, but it does tell us that Albertans are open to nuclear energy within our province, which allows us to consider such a decision in the future.
The province will review the panel's recommendations. They include enhancing the public's understanding of nuclear energy, getting municipalities and Indigenous communities involved in future projects, and exploring economic implications. MacEwan University's busiest workers are back in business. The school cracked open several beehives today, sealed since the fall. Miriam Valdez-Carletti has more on the project and its impact.
There's a lot of anticipation to see how many bees survived a frosty Edmonton winter.
That's exciting. Your heart stops for a second. Oh, look, they're all poking their heads up, and yes, they're here. They're going to survive.
The urban beekeeping project wrapped up these hives in installation months ago, giving them a sweet and warm home.
We were working with them from May until October, so you really get connected to these bees, and whatever you're going through in the week, then you see the bees, and they just make you feel better. So you're hoping to see them alive.
The rooftop of MacEwan University has been the home for these busy bees the last 10 years. While the skyline view of downtown Edmonton isn't your usual background for hives, the school's beekeeper says it teaches sustainability.
Without that, it would just feel like the old urban, this concrete jungle, if you will. And so it's nice to have that connection to nature.
We wouldn't have any plants or greenery or the nature that we have if it wasn't for these pollinators.
Keeping the bees alive through harsh winters has become more difficult.
Even the last 3-4 years, it's been a struggle with the weird weather. They just don't tend to survive quite as easy.
You got to make sure that they have enough food, that they have water. It's just like keeping like a pet. You got to maintain them and help them thrive.
The process has been rewarding for these students, especially to conquer fears.
I'm someone who fears bugs a lot, so this is a little bit of exposure therapy.
Getting up close and personal has changed that.
I love them. I can be with them without my gloves. I'm not scared of them at all. I feel very close. I feel like a special bond with the bees.
You can get a taste of their hard work at the University Bookstore where the honey is sold. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Still ahead, a Riverboat refresh.
This is the most stressful and most exciting time of the entire year.
A look at what's new as the Riverboat team prepares for a busy summer.
There's a lot of setup, a lot of maintenance and improvements that we've been doing.
No snow tonight, cool, cloudy, and windy tomorrow, but there is a chance of some snow Thursday night and through the day Friday. We'll tell you how much might be on the way right after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Dog is safely back on land after being rescued from an ice floe drifting on the North Saskatchewan River. Edmonton Fire Rescue says just before 7 o'clock this morning, someone saw the dog near the Twatna Bridge. Rescue crews managed to coax the dog to safety about an hour later. Fire crews say the dog was doing well when it was brought to the city's animal care and control team. Edmonton Fire is reminding people to keep their pets leashed near the river. It also says you should never try to rescue a pet yourself and to call 911 instead. The Edmonton Riverboat is back in the North Saskatchewan. CTV's Curtis Goodrum has more on the excitement ahead of the first sailing of the season.
Spring on the North Saskatchewan. The last of the ice flows past the Edmonton Riverboat after a long winter.
This is the most stressful and most exciting time of the entire year.
Fresh paint for each paddle, the crew polishing up the River Valley attraction, almost ready to welcome passengers.
There's a lot of setup, a lot of maintenance and improvements that we've been doing.
With long breaks between seasons, staff say it's like opening a new restaurant every spring.
The intense part usually is the first 1 to 2 weeks.
once we get comfortable, we're ready to give her throughout the season. It's a very quick season. We become a family here.
The Riverboat's owner says it set sail with 35,000 guests last year, up about 10,000 from the first year under his ownership. After 31 years of floating through the heart of Edmonton, he believes it has become a key part of the city.
Being the only riverboat in Edmonton, it's kind of a staple for the Edmonton tourism industry.
The 52 long meter boat hosts as many as 800 guests a day. It's not just about enjoying the journey. Often, it's a floating celebration. Weddings, holidays, Mother's and Father's Days.
Where we get to do different things and do different parties and functions, so it's super fun.
The Edmonton Riverboat will set sail May the 7th, and the team cannot wait to set sail and get started for the season.
When you're out on the water, there's a really special energy that I think is hard to replicate.
With the boat now in the water, tickets are on sale through their website. Curtis Goodrum, CTV News, Edmonton.
And welcome to CTV Edmonton to Curtis. That was his first report for our station.
Yeah, great job.
Pretty good.
Looking forward to a lot more.
Yep.
Love that accent.
Not looking forward to
I like
weather.
that accent.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Weather's not so good.
No, it's getting a little chillier over the next little while. There's a look outside right now with the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam Action Furnace fixed rider. It's free. 7 degrees currently in Edmonton and gusty. It's going to start to look a little bit like this later in the week here in the Edmonton area. This is from Ruth Lake. Thanks to Matt Grayson, this is sort of halfway between Fort McKay and Fort McMurray. Several centimeters of snow and more coming down. This was taken early this afternoon. There's a couple centimeters more than that already on the ground there, and they can get close to 15 to 20 centimeters worth of snow. Temperature-wise, here's your bottom out. Friday, Saturday, around or just slightly below zero for daytime highs. Still pretty chilly on Sunday. Monday, we start to dig back out. We're back into double digits by Tuesday, and we'll close April and head into May with temperatures around or slightly above average. So you get about 4 or 5 chilly days, coldest days being Friday, Saturday. There's your heavier snow falling across the northeast, some steadier rain further to the south and through parts of east central Alberta, and then we're starting to see some flurries and some mixed precipitation in through the Peace Country. Here in Edmonton, we had this band of rain move through the late afternoon hours. That's now way off to the east, and you can see breaks in the cloud cover. We'll see a bit more of that through this evening and overnight tonight. So wind warning for the southeast corner of the province. Snowfall warning there, snowfall warning here. You got a whole mess of weather advisories in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. It'd be a lot worse there than it will be in eastern Alberta. There to the south is the rainfall warning. Snowfall warning, in general, you're going to see 15 to 25 centimeters worth of snow. As far as rainfall warning, I think parts of east central Alberta might actually see that flip. It might end, rainfall warning will end later this evening, might turn into a snowfall warning here as we got some heavy snow coming from parts of east central Alberta and areas off to the south and to the southeast of the city of Edmonton. I think here in the city, we do get a bit of accumulation through Thursday night and Friday. I'm not convinced we get 10 to 15 centimeters of snow, but on grassy areas, 5+ is possible. I think roadways, the biggest problem is going to be the icing that we see on roadways and the blowing snow as winds are gusting 50 to 60 kilometers per hour tomorrow and on Thursday. You got this low pressure system way off to the east. That's causing all the problems in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. And on the backside of it, it's just giving us this cold northerly flow. And every now and then you get these waves of snow that drop through. Northwest of Edmonton, you're not going to see much in the way of snowfall. Around Edmonton and off to the east, that's where the bulk of the snow is going to be, and that will continue for several days, off and on flurries and periods of snow. 7 degrees in Edmonton right now. Maybe a while before we get back to 7 degrees here in the city. There's your strongest wind from Edmonton off to the east, and that'll be the case for tomorrow and again Friday. Strongest wind in central and eastern parts of the province. 30 to 40 kilometer per hour gusts tonight, 50 to 60 kilometer per hour gusts tomorrow afternoon with some late day flurries or snow. More flurries or periods of snow and windy on Friday. Yeah, by Sunday, things start to turn around.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, tough negotiations to come.
They're doubling down on globalization when we're trying to correct for the problems of globalization. So those are two models that don't fit together very well.
Canada and the U.S. about to crack open CUSMA also.
It is, in fact, the biggest public health intervention in a generation, and I can assure all noble lords it will save lives.
A lifetime ban. The UK moves to stop smoking completely. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by Basement Systems Edmonton. Contact us today for all things basement-y. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A war of words today between Canada and the U.S. as trade talks heat up. The Americans are citing certain irritants before CUSMA negotiations can begin. The Prime Minister responded by saying, "We have some on our side as well." Here's CTV's Mike LeCouture.
They just treat us unfairly at every margin they possibly can.
The U.S. Commerce Secretary describing the trading relationship with Canada to fellow American lawmakers. And Howard Lutnick once again brought up a key gripe.
It is outrageous that Canada will not put U.S. spirits on the shelf. It is insulting.
Prime Minister Mark Carney pushed back on any suggestion that Canada has to make concessions to get back to the negotiating table.
It's not a case of the United States dictates the terms. We have the negotiation. We can come to a mutually successful outcome. It will take some time.
A prudent strategy, according to this trade lawyer.
I think where Canada is drawing a line right now is this idea that we're going to give away the house before we even sit down to negotiate. And that puts negotiators in a very difficult situation.
The U.S. has already outlined other irritants, including limited American access to the Canadian dairy market and the Online Streaming Act, which brings American platforms under Canadian broadcast rules.
We've made some counter proposals, which they're aware, and the time will come to really roll up our sleeves.
At the powerful House Ways and Means Committee, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer said the bigger issue is that the two countries have opposing philosophies on trade.
They're doubling down on globalization when we're trying to correct for the problems of globalization. So those are two models that don't fit together very well.
Canada's approach could become more clear tomorrow at the Parliamentary Committee on Foreign Affairs. That's when we'll hear from Canada's ambassador to the U.S. for the first time. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
A Quebec man accused of promoting the violent ideology of the 764 network is facing terrorism charges.
This group is a nihilistic, violent, extremist group that promotes criminal and violent activities. So they go online to basically lure in, groom young individuals.
The RCMP says the group targets children and teens on online gaming and social media platforms. Police allege a 26-year-old man published and promoted graphic, violent, and highly disturbing content. Police are reminding parents to be vigilant when their children are online and to report suspicious activity. A landmark policy decision in the UK could see a lifetime smoking ban for people born after 2008. The tobacco and vaping bill must still get royal assent, and questions remain about enforcement. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
The United Kingdom is looking to create its first smoke-free generation.
It is, in fact, the biggest public health intervention in a generation, and I can assure all noble lords it will save lives.
Lawmakers in the UK have passed a new bill that will introduce a lifetime ban on buying cigarettes for anyone born after 2008. The aim to prevent youth from developing nicotine addictions.
It's a step in the right direction, and we're really encouraged to see this, hoping that officials in Canada will take note and see what can be done here within our borders to address smoking.
Smoking is the leading cause of preventable death, illness, and disability in Canada. The latest data shows 12% of Canadians aged 15 and older currently smoke cigarettes. Most started before the age of 18. When it comes to vaping, 10% of Canadians aged 20 to 24 and 6.7% aged 15 to 19 report vaping every day.
There's not many things, if anything, that smoking is not going to drastically make worse, which is why I often say smoking is the most harmful thing that you can do for your health. Quitting is the best thing you can do for your health.
The federal government has been asked to consider a very similar proposal before, but so far it hasn't made any moves. Experts hope the UK's bill will change that.
It does have the potential to have a huge impact long term. We are at lower smoking prevalence than we were historically. It makes it more feasible.
Federal law currently prohibits the sale of tobacco products to anyone under the age of 18. And many experts say to further bring down smoking rates, that age should be pushed to 21. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Researchers believe they found the answers to why Gibraltar's famous wild macaques have been spotted eating dirt. A new study from Cambridge University says the dirt may be a way for the monkeys to settle upset stomachs after eating junk food left behind by tourists. Researchers say dirt can act as a sort of antacid to soothe their stomachs after overindulging in sweet and salty snacks. Eating dirt to aid digestion is called geophagy and is a form of adaptive behavior. Coming up, another airline responding to potential fuel shortages.
I'm in a state of limbo, and I'm sure so many people are in a state of limbo.
This is the biggest crisis the airline industry has had, bar none.
The ongoing conflict in Iran could mean it's easier to stay close to home this travel season. Checking on the markets, the Canadian dollar closed near 73 cents U.S. Oil was up more than $3, closing at $93 a barrel. Gold gained around $33 on the day. The TSX is up 146 points. The Dow Jones gained 340. Air Transat is the latest airline to cut flights in the face of an unprecedented fuel crisis. Carriers, including Air Canada and Lufthansa, are revising plans over the conflict in the Middle East. As CTV's Jean-Vier Beauchemin reports, it could lead to a chaotic summer travel season.
At the airport, the excitement of travel is dimmed by worries over flight plans.
Well, we booked our trip a long time ago, and so thankfully we got a very good discount. And now if I was traveling, I think I would probably wait till after summer and see if things calm down and see what happens with the world.
Transat is canceling hundreds of flights, pointing to soaring jet fuel prices and a looming shortage in Europe. It says the changes represent a 6% reduction in capacity, affecting routes in Europe and the Caribbean. The suspension of service to Cuba is extended until October.
I'm just crossing my fingers.
Rebecca O'Sullivan booked a dream European vacation with Transat months ago for her 40th wedding anniversary.
So it's just, I'm in a state of limbo, and I'm sure so many people are in a state of limbo, you know, and there's nothing we can do.
Air Canada and WestJet have also trimmed capacity, while Lufthansa has cut 20,000 short-haul flights. United Airlines said today its prices may have to rise by 20%.
This is the biggest crisis the airline industry has had, bar none.
In Canada, airlines need to rebook passengers on cancelled or delayed flights on the next available one, departing within 48 hours. But that may not be a solution.
If there's no flight to go within 48 hours, what do you do? So refunds are the only thing in town. So there's a bunch of rules that are going to have to be looked at again.
And insurance may not cover other costs, classifying this crisis as an act of war.
Refunding my flight does nothing for me because I still have to pay, you know, quite a bit of money for my tour. So refunding me, I don't want a refund from the airline. I want to get there.
And as airlines pass on some of the expense to travelers, some say they'll just have to stay closer to home. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating a near miss between two planes at New York's JFK Airport. It happened exactly a month after the deadly Air Canada Express crash at LaGuardia.
Hey, Brickyard, you guys try to go off your right side immediately. It's safe at 2,000 feet, sir. That's all you above me now.
We're correcting. Brickyard 4464.
The FAA says on Monday an American Airlines regional jet missed its approach path. It says the plane flew too close to an Air Canada Express plane that was cleared to land on a parallel runway. It says both crews responded to onboard alerts. This weekend, hundreds of bird watchers from Edmonton and surrounding communities will celebrate the spring migration. The Snow Goose Festival will include tours and hikes around Beaver Hill Lake and Beaver County. Buses will be available from Edmonton and Tofield for tours to view snow geese, waterfowl, and other spring birds. The event also includes a trade show at the Tofield Curling Rink featuring displays, kids' activities, live birds, and educational talks. Organizers say participants are guaranteed to see some geese.
Saturday morning, our scouts will be out there figuring out exactly where the geese are. So when people get on the buses, the first bus leaves at 8 in the morning, they know exactly where they're going. They've got a map. They've got a dot on the map, so they're not going looking. They've got a destination.
The festival takes place Saturday and Sunday. For more information or to buy tickets, head to snowgoosefestival.ca. Horse Expo Canada is returning to Red Deer this weekend. The event runs Friday through Sunday at Westerner Park. It features more than 230 vendors. You can take in a variety of clinics taught by equestrian professionals, including dressage, reining, and horsemanship. The expo will also feature panel discussions, a trainer's showdown, and an equine fashion show. Single-day tickets and weekend passes are available online or at the door. Coming up, hot and cold reactions to a publicity stunt by Drake, now deemed a public safety issue.
He got the attention he needed, but again, it's a lot of water, it's drawing a lot of crowds, a lot of resources as well, so definitely a waste of money.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV.
While the mystery of a publicity stunt by rapper Drake has been solved, the stunt itself is still causing issues in downtown Toronto. A giant ice block containing the release date of Drake's new album has been deemed a safety risk. CTV's Beth McDonnell has more.
It's a melting publicity stunt showered in attention. For 14 hours, fire trucks soaked the massive ice block with warm water, now deemed a safety risk. The installation built to promote the release date of Toronto rapper Drake's new album, Iceman.
This is ridiculous, using all this water, flooding the area.
For 3 days, people have been gathering near Sankofa Square to take selfies and see it firsthand. Some witnessing the moment of that release date before people pulled out blowtorches, pickaxes, and climbed on top of the structure, causing police to manage crowds.
People carrying around pickaxes in the city, probably not the best thing. And I think it is a waste of water and money now at this point because they are using the fire department to melt it down.
With so many resources deployed, the debate is now flowing over who should pay for the big cleanup.
The city can do it. Like Drake did this for the city and we're all happy that he did it.
I think Drake should pay for it. He's clearly got the money for it. He did it.
I think no one, I think we should let nature do its work and let it melt on its own.
Fire crews say the goal with all the spraying was to remove any hazard. The city says as the ice was set up on private property, no permit was needed. And the response to fire safety risks are funded through the city's budget.
It is our responsibility to make sure people are safe. And I want to thank the police and the fire department to make sure people are safe.
What people do agree on, the staged event is a spectacle for the ages.
Well, honestly, I think it's an amazing marketing stunt for sure. He got the attention he needed, but again, it's a lot of water, it's drawing a lot of crowds, a lot of resources as well, so definitely a waste of money.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, every single day is different. One day there's people standing on top, one day there's people trying to light it on fire.
And one day spent trying to shrink the ice structure all away.
Yeah, light it on fire. That always works. May 15th, the new album. Now you know. That's the date, the release date. I know that was important.
I already knew, all right? I got some inside information. Take a look at your forecast. -2 tomorrow morning, 4 degrees tomorrow afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, and then late in the day, around supper time and into the evening hours, some flurries or some periods of snow. It's going to be really windy tomorrow and Friday. Gusts will be about 50, 60 kilometers per hour. Looks like the wind will die down on Saturday. And after a little more snow on Friday, could still be some flurries on Saturday. I think we will likely see some accumulation, especially on grassy areas, and roads are going to turn icy and slick. It's going to be gross.
Yep. Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for sharing your time with us, everyone. Have a great day.
The Iceman approves, though.